Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Mayor Yukich?
Present.
Trustee Suisse?
Present.
Trustee Rogers?
Present.
Trustee Gray?
Present.
Trustees Caprio, Knightsky-Trikey, and Varian are absent.
Are there any amendments to the agenda? Any amendments? Nope. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of June 28th, 2017 Village Board meeting?
So moved.
Trustee Gray,
A second.
Trustee Rogers. Discussion? Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll? Oh, no. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Reports and communications from the mayor and other officers. Will County launches emergency preparedness smartphone app. The Will County Emergency Management Agency has announced the launch of a new emergency preparedness smartphone app entitled Ready Will County. This application will enable residents to create and manage personal emergency plans in the palm of their hand. The Ready Will County app allows users to create individual and family emergency plans, which include important data such as an emergency phone numbers. The app contains information on local hazards, including tornadoes, terrorism events, and good health and public health emergencies. During emergencies, maps can be turned on to provide important information such as road closures and shelter locations. The map also shows locations of all local police and fire stations. Residents can download the app from the Apple's App Store and the Google Play Store. Search for keywords Ready Will County. For more information, please contact the village at 708-301-0632. Go to the trustees, and we'll start with Trustee Suisse.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a brief report for the Homer Harvest Days Committee. Homer Harvest Days will be taking place within the next 30 days on September 9 and 10. Please contact the Township Office at 708-301-0522 if you would like to become a vendor, demonstrator, or volunteer. We are looking for demonstrators that would portray tinsmithing, blacksmithing, pioneer cooking demonstrations, quilters, or basket making. This is just a small sampling of what Homer Harvest Days would like to illustrate. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Suisse. Trustee Rogers.
Reporting on behalf of Public Safety Committee in follow-up to the temporary street lights that we had put up on 159th Street. We have verified that those are up and are operational. So adding some additional lighting for the entrances of those subdivisions. That's all I have.
Thank you, Trustee Rogers. Trustee Gray.
No report, Mayor.
Okay. Treasurer's report. Clerk report.
No report.
Village attorney.
No report.
Public safety officials. What, Bob? Can we turn the fan off? We'll all perish? Bob, why don't you come over and sit at the table here? You'll hear. Come over and sit down here. We can do that. All right, public safety officials? Okay. Village manager. Next will be public comment. Thank you. Okay, the first one will be Christy Navison.
Thank you for murdering my last name. It's Nasser, N-A-H-S-E-R.
I don't have my glasses on, so.
Okay. I live on 143rd Street and King Road. I'm the horse farm. That's 31 acres right there. And my concern today is that they're going to widen 143rd to 4 lanes. The last time they had the meeting, they were talking about 4 lanes with a median in the center. Can everybody hear me? Okay, good. because I want to make sure I push this point through. My concern is with the school right across the street, we're talking about a dangerous situation, because I think that we should do is, I know we have to widen it because a lot of traffic's going through that area, so we need to somehow channel it through. Why can't we do 3 lanes with a center turn lane? I have the horse farm, and if I load 5 horses into a horse trailer and I'm trying to pull out of my driveway with a live load, and I don't think 90% of you know what a live load means. It means that I have living livestock in there, and because they've now just been loaded and very tentative in this situation, I can only pull out of my driveway very, very slowly. If they have such a thing where they have that median in the center and I pull out of my driveway because I'm on the north side of the road and I have to go, let's say, east, and I'm pulling across 2 lanes of traffic now into an eastbound 2-lane traffic. If a vehicle's coming westbound on that lane and I can't see to the other side of them, there could be somebody that's going to be pulling around very quickly and end up landing right inside into my trailer with the horses or into me. So it's a safety situation right there. Plus the fact people, because they're coming off of 355, they think it's still a speedway. I can't tell you how many times I have actually pulled out of my driveway and pulled behind somebody, which is naughty. Please, Mr. Officer, don't hear me say this. But I will speed up to see how fast that they're going. And they're going like 65, 70 miles an hour. So they still think that 355 onto 143rd Street is a speedway to get themselves to Orland Park. So, and plus the fact we also have a school across the street. So now you're adding more traffic there because you've now widened it. But the people going in and out of the school, it's very, very dangerous. I have been in my backyard and heard so many squealings of tires with buses pulling out, and once again, they've got almost like a live load. They've got kids in there, and they have to pull out slowly. And then some people are speeding or a truck's pulling along, and a lot of times the people that don't know 143rd Street do not realize that that's a school that's right there. So I have heard squealing tires many times where a major accident's going to happen at some point. So I would hope that you would look at the situation on 143rd in that area, because we have residential area in there, not commercial like there is on 159th Street, and our areas are wider, bigger pieces of property, so we have a lot more wildlife that are in there, which are getting decimated. I know that's not high on everybody's priority list, but being that I'm an animal person, it is, part there. But the main thing is the safety issue. It's unbelievable. I mean, I take my life into my hands just when I pull in and out of my driveway just with a car, let alone having a 5-horse trailer attached to the butt end of my truck. So please, if there's any way that we can possibly re-look at this and look at it as a safety issue, I would hope that you guys could, because otherwise we're going to have a major, major accident.
Okay.
And then it's going to be too late, because now we've put in 4 lanes and a median.
All right, well, that's something that we have to talk to Will County.
Okay, I mean, and I'm just starting to talk to different people in the area, and unfortunately, I still wear grandma jeans and I have a flip phone, so I don't have a computer, so I don't know how to get a hold of everybody, so I'm real slow in technology. So is there some way that I can help out or go door to door, or how do we talk to people and change it? Or I don't know how to get this whole thing started, and I apologize, we're kind of behind the 8 ball here.
Well,
My understanding is that median had been eliminated. I could be wrong, but I believe that has been eliminated.
Okay.
I would tell you your best contact for that would be Mike Frizzalone or Steve Ballich, who kind of represent this
the
area.
Will County rep.
Okay, so talk to them. But, talk amongst yourselves, too, because I think it's something that we should talk about. Because really, are we asking people to come off of 355 and stop and shop in Homer Glen? No, all these people are doing is cutting through Homer Glen and driving really fast just to get to Orland Park. I mean, if you want them to do any shop, 159th Street is being widened for this particular purpose, and it's commercial. So push them off into there, slow our area down, and keep it for the residents and keep it happy and healthy. I mean, you've got a sign right there that says community and nature in harmony. Widening it like that and putting it that wide, a 5-lane road, or like 4 lanes with the median, or however it's going to be, that's not harmony to the area.
Well, like I said, we will talk to Will County,
Okay.
but it would be important for you to, and if someone could get certain lady her phone number for.
Well, yeah, okay, that'd be great. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We have a line where they put their phone number on there.
Next would be Judith Slepka.
Thank you. You didn't murder my name quite as bad as most people do, but it took me forever to learn how to say it too, so you're forgiven. It's
Thank you.
Slapika or Slapichka if you want to be really bohemian. However, I'm just here. I'm going to restate that Christie's concerns are my concerns. I've been a resident in the same house for 45 years. I've seen many changes here, including 4 address changes, although I'm in the same house. So I've seen a lot of development and a lot of changes, and they're not always for the better, although they are a lot for the good. But my driveway is right opposite King Road, and for me to make a right-hand turn going east, turning into my driveway, I can't tell you how I pray that the person behind me has seen my signal. However, I've turned it on 1,000 feet beforehand by Reed School, and I still have people right on top of me. But I do think it is kind of imperative that we rethink the situation, and if we have to contact Will County and start them to see, why are we just widening 143rd Street to Will Cook Road? It seems ridiculous. It doesn't make much sense to me. So I just don't know what to do as a resident here. I'd like to see, like Christy said, a village for nature with harmony in nature. I am on 7 acres, and I would like to keep it rural. And I would like to also, as possible, for animals. But also I see and hear traffic that's been diverted, I know, from 159th Street because it's construction. But the traffic is, sometimes it takes me 3 to 4 minutes to just get out of my driveway. And that's an absurdly long time to be able to pull out. If it's 4 lanes, I have no idea how long it'll take. And I do hear, officer, wherever you're at, I do hear them drag racing down 143rd Street. So it's kind of crazy. So,
Okay. What we'll do is
well, I thank you for your attention.
You're quite welcome, but we will get a hold of Will County on it too, and we'll talk to the police about watching the speeders.
All right, thank you.
Okay? You're welcome, Judith. All right.
Maybe we could set up some kind of a workshop so that the county can come and kind of lay out what their plan is, and then residents in the area who, can see it.
Christy and Judith, before you leave, if you could give them your phone number so we can get a hold of you, because it'll be a lot easier than sending you something in the mail. All right, Tara Sladek.
Hi, I'm Tara Sladek. No pun intended, I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but I also live across from Christy. I'm a resident at the corner of Twin Creek and 143rd. I have a new driver in the house who, big concern, 4 lanes. I love the idea of 3 or the center turn lane, but the 4 lanes definitely terrifies a mom of a brand new driver. As well, I do have an equestrian facility a half-mile down the road. I've had, with just the 2 lanes, I've had more than one client get rear-ended because people drive really fast. I can't imagine what the 4 lanes would bring, and us too, with the large horse trailers hauling in and out. Definitely a concern both personally and professionally. So that's...
Okay. We'll do the same. If you could give your phone number to them, this way we can get a hold of you.
Yes.
Thank you. And last would be Noah Patempa.
I'm Noah Patempa. I'm Tara Sladek's son, and I'm about to get my driver license soon. And even practicing is kind of scary enough, pulling out onto 143rd, and it's a little more difficult, having more traffic, more speeders, a little bit scary.
Okay. We understand that. We'll look into it for you, though. All right, that's it for public comment. We'll start with the legislation items. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 17-050, amending ordinance number 12-018, a special use permit for a planned unit development, section 220-903C1, Code of the Village of Homer Glen, to permit the construction of 14 proposed parking stalls for certain real property located at the southwest corner of 143rd Street and Renaissance Circle, and known as PIN number 16-05-12-010-022-0000. Providence Life Services LLC case HG 1718S.
I so move.
Trustee Suisse,
Second.
Trustee Gray, discussion?
I was just curious, is the petitioner here? Oh, is that located, the stalls located in two different locations? Okay.
Anyone else? Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Mayor Yukich?
Motion carries.
Mayor Yukich, you have to vote.
Aye. Well, we got to vote for
Everything.
the four. Okay. Number two, is there a motion to direct the Community and Economic Development Committee to review the request for an extension of an existing special use planned permit for unit development for Homer Glen Center, Phase 1 and 2, for an additional one-year period for certain real properties located at 14401 West 143rd Street in Homer Glen. George Gatses on behalf of Homer Town Plaza, LLC applicant, case HG 0516 MS and case HG 0616S.
So moved.
So moved, Trustee Rogers.
I second.
Second, Trustee Suisse. Discussion?
Well, we had some discussion about this at A&F, and in my opinion, and I think the consensus of A&F was to have the Community and Economic Development Committee have a chance to look at this plan. This plan, I think, has been around for 7 years, and there's so many new eyes and so many new opinions on that board that, out of respect for that board, I think it's important that we get their feedback.
Okay.
I have a few questions. What is it we're asking them to review? Is it to review whether or not it should be extended, or to review the entire plan to see if it still fits within the scope of just where the village is now?
To review the PUD.
It has been gone over in 7, 8 years. It's still the same.
Right, I see the original was in '05, so that's
Right, so it's actually 12 years.
12 and,
Yeah.
right, 12 and then some others.
So this way, at least you're giving the Community and Economic Development Committee a chance to take a look at it, because it's a complete new board.
I think that's all I have.
Sharon? No. Okay. So what we would do on this is,
Mr. Gatses?
oh,
No, I'm just listening, and I couldn't hear.
oh, okay. Okay. The problem that we're having is the air conditioner went out. If we turn the fan off, you're going to sweat a lot.
Just make sure, talk right into this. You got to talk right in.
All right, I swear I'll talk like this, so we don't have to turn it off the fan. Okay. All right, what we'd like to do on this, Mr. Gatsis, is we're going to bring it before the Community and Economic Development Committee, let them see it, and then we'll bring it before the board, because no one's seen this before. I have, but I don't vote for it anymore except tonight. So,
Just to explain that 7-year period, that 8-year period, we did that motion to consolidate planned unit development with Homer Glen Center and Homer Town Plaza. Homer Town Plaza granted the extension that was about 3 years ago, because was a whole plan that was done for 2 buildings.
Correct.
Well, you're familiar with that.
Yeah, but this way, we just give them a shot to take a look at it to see what, all right? And then we'll make the, we'll set up the date for the meeting. It'd probably be the second meeting in September because we don't meet until the first week of September with the committee, and it'd be too quick. The meeting would be too quick to the village board meeting, so it'll be the second one.
Yeah, is it one on September 12th?
No.
Or the committee meeting?
Yes, and the, yes. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's, we just leave, no vote, so. Okay. Let's just refer to move to committee. So, okay, all right. Do I call the roll then?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Mayor Yukich?
Aye. Motion carries. Next one, is there a motion to approve a construction agreement with the Illinois American Water for the water main installation on 159th Street between Cedar Road and Gauger Road?
So moved.
Trustee Gray?
Second.
Trustee Rogers? Discussion.
I have a question on G. I don't know, is that Director Selmovich? Oh. Letter G?
Oh, letter G, go ahead, sorry.
I was rereading G where it says, "The village shall protect and hold harmless the company, which is Illinois American Water, from and against any loss, damage claims," and then it goes on about judgments or causes of actions. I was just curious, the last line where it says, "of any action undertaken by or on behalf of the village or its agents or employees during or following such construction." Now, if this is part of agreement, following such construction, it seems like it's open-ended. Should we say following, I mean, is that open-ended? Do we need to?
I don't believe it's open-ended. This has been reviewed by Eric Hansen, who's not here tonight, Jim Murphy's here. To summarize, it's basically, we're constructing the water main. This agreement's not the bid or anything like that. This is just our ability to construct. So what they're saying is, since we're constructing the water main, we're responsible for how it gets constructed and then any negligence that may or may not occur during construction or because of the construction.
That would fall on us because we're doing it.
Right, but then when it says following such construction, it kind of seems like, oh, after the fact, if something happens. I was just curious we're okay with it.
No, we're okay with it. The way it is right now, normally what happens is when anyone builds a water line and a sewer line, they donate it to Illinois American Water. Because if people don't move in within the 10 years that they give them, they own the property, and whoever the builder was loses everything. We're the builder. We're not losing a penny.
Okay.
So we might own it 20 years if that's how long it takes to get all the
Yeah, I thought it
lines
was
tied
20
in.
years. Okay.
But if it goes to 30, it can go to 30. We're not losing on it. They get enough of our money.
I have a question as well.
Mayor, just to clarify, it's a 20-year term, and at that point, we would transfer over the water main, but we'd have the right to set up a recapture agreement, so we'd still be able to get any outstanding monies owed after that fact. So we still have the coverage. Just want to make sure that that's clear.
Okay.
My question is, it says in there, the agreement's for a 20-year period. At that time, the water main would be transferred to Illinois American Water. What if in the interim, say some future board or some future administration wanted to put in a public works in the village, and we decided to try to take over, or we started to install our own water system? Would there be a way to get that not transferred over to IAW in 20 years? Or, you know, I mean, there could be public works facilities in that time. We don't know what the future holds.
No, you don't.
Is there a way to put something in there that says if we do, that we would not be turning it over to them, it would, you know, remain part of the village?
That's a good question. I don't know if Jim, I don't know if you're comfortable enough to even answer that. That's more of a legal question.
Offhand, without really looking at it, I can think some practical ways of
There you go. I can think of some practical ways of dealing with it, but I'm not sure legally without really looking through it. And I haven't considered it up until this point in time.
This is, what I would say is this is a modification of their standard agreement. They normally are working with developers that are putting in the systems. Because of the cost and the length of the system, a developer wouldn't take that on, so the village is acting in that capacity. So it's not an unusual agreement from that perspective. We just have kind of a unique relationship when it comes to water utilities. So.
As for,
So that doesn't really answer your question too much, does it?
no, and I agree. We're in suit with them right now for the main water line coming in. We have been looking into seeing if we could take over the infrastructure, but they own all of it, except for the people that are well and septic. The cost to buy back something that might be at that time 50, 60, 70 years old, because a lot of this has been in here for that amount of time. I'm not sure how we came up with the price, but it was thrown out that you were probably looking at $400 million to buy it back. You'd never get it back. You'd take $400 million. That's something that.
I just want to insert a sentence just to protect us, just on the off chance that we are in a position in 18, 20 years where we are handing back something that we own, but we have the ability to manage and maintain at that point.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't give you that answer this evening, and I think we'd need to have our attorneys look at that, and then, quite frankly, we'd need to run that by Illinois American Water. So if that is a concern, I would just recommend tabling it, if that's what you would wish.
Yeah, that's fine. We can table it until we get the answers from the lawyers on this, just to make sure that we're in a good spot. All right, so we're going to table number 3 for right now, so there's no vote needed.
Mayor, wait, in the second, first and second.
Well, if we're tabling it, though, it's done.
We would still need a change of the motion and a motion to table it.
You want to ask for a motion to table it? And then
Okay, so
be tabled?
we'll take the motion that was out there.
Can I make a suggestion that we go through with the vote contingent on something so that we're not getting behind again on the schedule? Put some kind of a contingency in there that you might be comfortable with, because otherwise you're now looking, this whole schedule would be off.
I think the problem is you don't know what Illinois American's going to say at that point. And so if you have a contingency, I'm not sure if you're voting on something that is, we're voting yes on either or something, because we haven't looked at it either. So I think it would be safer to table it.
From a timing standpoint, if you don't mind me jumping in, we won't be able to move forward with the construction until the road shifts over. So we might have a little bit of flexibility and still meet the timing. I would concur with the attorney that we should get the proper language before the board and before Illinois American Water.
Before we approve it.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than a fence variance or something of that nature. But I think we've got a little flexibility and still meet the schedule, assuming we can come up with mutual agreed upon language between the two groups.
Yeah, because we could still put it on the last meeting of August, right, and still meet that September date.
That might be tight. We might be pushing the September date a little bit, but if we put it out to bid and say October, we'll still be in the construction timeframe, because the road or the water main won't be able to commence until the road is switched over to the south side, which most likely will not happen until a little bit later this fall. So we've got a little flexibility in the cushion on that. But it's purely a board decision.
That is just a, major concern of mine. I just don't want to hold up any construction, over by Gauger and Cedar. That's
All right,
my,
and I understand what you're talking about. Your call.
You're fine with what? Going forward with this, if our attorneys reviewed this, so I think I'm comfortable with it.
what is your thoughts you're wanting to hold?
I don't want to hold up the schedule either, but I do want to make sure that the village is protected. I mean, like I said, it seems to me that it would be an easy inclusion into the contract. I don't know if it will take until September or not, but, it's just a belt and suspenders kind of thing. There is a chance. We are a growing community. There is a chance. I don't know where the 400 million, that's the first time I've heard that for a water system. It could be, it might not be, but it might be a point where we start to build our own systems in the future, and we got to start somewhere, and why pay twice for something? So I just think we have the opportunity to put that in there right now, and if it holds us back by a week or two, then maybe that's...
I'd be fine with a week or two. He's talking about a month.
Right.
Just trying to give some flexibility to the attorneys to discuss back and forth.
And I think I think there could be a provision that was drafted quickly. I'm just not sure, dealing with Illinois American and what
they're going to say.
What they're going to say and what their position is.
Because they could also say, then we're not going to tie into you.
Why don't I suggest, I was talking with their development service person, we think we still can meet that date. Why don't we just table it to the next meeting and see what kind of response we get from L&M?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Keith. I think you err on the side of caution here, especially with the history that we've had with the company, but I definitely would like to see this on the September agenda. I mean, on the August agenda.
All right. So then we're going to table it. I need the motion withdrawn. So that was Keith and...
Me.
Yeah, Beth.
And Beth. I withdraw my motion.
I withdraw.
The second. And then someone needs to make a motion to table, to put back on the agenda for August 26th? August
23rd, I believe.
23rd? Okay. So I need a motion to table.
Actually, if you already have it withdrawn, you don't need the motion to table.
Okay, all right. So then we're just going to table it, and we'll put it back on the agenda for August 23rd. Okay. All right. Next, there's a motion to accept a
I'm
bid.
sorry, Mayor, I think we need a first and a second, and then we need a vote, correct? To table it?
No, it was,
Motion dies.
the motion was withdrawn.
Okay.
So it just
So it
dies.
doesn't need a table, so it doesn't need to be tabled at that point in time because it's been withdrawn.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept the bid proposal from the apparent lowest responsible bidder, Current Technologies Corporation, for the server replacement project in the amount of $17,049.33? It is understood that the bid is below the budgeted amount of $25,000.
I so move.
Trustee Suisse,
Second.
Trustee Gray, discussion?
Is the new server about twice the capacity of what we have?
I think it's more than twice. It's a 4 terabyte server. I'm not familiar with the size of our current server.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Mayor Yukich?
Aye. Number 5, is there a motion to accept the bid proposed by Austin Tyler Construction, Inc. for the construction of Phase 1 of the Heritage Project in the amount of $3,392,350,000.09?
I so move.
Trustee Suisse,
A second.
Trustee Rogers, discussion?
This came in under budget. Do you remember what percentage that was?
We put,
I don't have the exact percentage. The PRI estimate for the entire Phase 1 was $5.5 million. This portion with all, there's another engineering component on that, would bring the total up to 3.8. We still have one component left to bid out, the 319 component. We're estimating it's going to be about $1 million total under that 5.5 budget, but we'll get to that second phase later this winter. So the numbers came in well. And actually part of this goes a little bit beyond the normal scope because we have a lot of utilities, underground utilities already pre-planned under this that actually fall into different phases. So we have water, sewer, storm, electric, things like that.
And I'm assuming HR Green vetted this company, because I've never heard of it before, but that doesn't mean anything.
IDOT, it's an IDOT bid.
Yeah,
This went through an IDOT bid letting, so all of the contractors that were bidding on the project were pre-qualified through IDOT. Actually, this same company is doing the MFT road work for the township this year. They are actually also the same contractor that's doing our bike trail this year.
Thank you.
I have a question also. Two things. Manager Merton sent me the agenda from the April 12th meeting. I think it was from the board meeting. I'm not real sure. I wasn't on at that time. But in that attachment, it said that there would be site grading, and that's not a bullet point on today's?
Yeah, it's part of this component. So there'll be site grading for the road area, the west parking lot, the Village Green component, and a portion of what we're classifying as the 319 grading area that's included in this.
Okay.
Well.
The April 12th one also says something about underground utilities under the Village Green area, and today's doesn't.
That's also included in there. Yeah, water, utility, electric, all those, or anything underground we've tried to include in this.
And then my last question is, and this might be on one of the next two action items. There's some places where it says the roadway width is 44 feet and somewhere it says it's 130 feet.
I believe what it is the right-of-way is going to be probably the 130 feet. The roadway is going to be, typically it's going to be about 24 feet, and then you'll have an additional, I believe it's like 19 to 20 feet for the parking.
Okay. That was all I had.
okay. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Mayor Yukich?
Aye. 6, is there a motion to approve the IDOT resolution for improvement under the Illinois Highway Code for the construction of Heritage Circle and other related items as part of Phase 1 of the Heritage Park project in the village of Homer Glen?
So moved.
Trustee Gray,
I'll second.
Trustee Rogers, discussion?
Yes, Mayor. This is the sticky point. Okay, the Parks Committee has not seen any of this. I know I don't want to hold up the project, but I think this can go through possibly. Hold on here a second. Okay, what my concern is, well, first of all, the other Parks co-chair is not here. Half the board is not here. We're moving forward so quickly with this, and what does it really mean when it says that the Heritage Circle is going to go according to IDOT resolutions? Now, I know it's depth of the roadway or the width of the roadway. My concern is the lighting. So if this goes forward tonight, I would really like to take another look at the lighting component. And they were talking about smart lighting, which may help the neighbors so that they don't see lights in the park, and we can dim them down, hopefully. So that's a concern, is what are the pros and cons of moving forward using MFT funds for, I can see the roadway, but using MFT funds for lighting, things like that.
Well, the roadway itself becomes public. So it's not a private situation, so we put the lights up with the road at the time because it is a public road.
But we can, even if this gets approved this evening, we can take another look at that.
Oh, yeah.
We could pull that out, we don't have to keep it there, we could adjust it. But I would like to know, what the standards are.
Yeah, the IDOT resolution here, what that is doing is basically designating the 3.6 million out of our current MFT balance to be used for this project. It doesn't obligate us to use the entire balance, and there's still things that can be changed throughout the project, if necessary. But it's kind of the same thing we did when we passed a resolution for our street lighting. We did a larger amount kind of as a contingency in case something came up. Again, it doesn't obligate us to use the entire amount. It's just setting this amount aside so that if in the future there are additions, we don't have to keep going back approving another resolution for additional amounts.
Okay, so this is not, what you just said, the MFT allocation of 3.6 is not set in stone. It could, we could take another look at that if need be. If the committees, if recommendations come back to the board after, like I said, Parks has not, because of the open house in July, Parks has not seen any of this. They haven't reviewed or were able to recommend any ideas.
But wait, seen any of what? I'm confused.
Well, the way taking a look at everything, taking a look at the lighting, the structure of everything.
Well, I would think the lighting is probably the environmental committee, not the parks committee.
Well, it's both.
Yeah, I don't know how that has anything to do with this.
Well, because if it's an IDOT resolution to construct the Heritage Circle, everything is included then. We have to abide by everything that they put through if we're going to use MFT funds.
Correct.
Right. So that's why I said, I think we need to take I'm okay with it right now, as long as we can take another look. I mean, there might be some other ideas.
Well, we still can adjust, we can add lights, we can subtract lights, nothing's written in stone here.
Right, that's it, right. That's all I wanted to confirm.
Okay. All right, so...
So the only question I had, and I think Mike answered it, was the 3.6 is just a contingency in case we go past the 3.392?
Correct. It's
not
just
including H7, I think, which is asking for, or H8, I'm sorry, which is 218,000. I wasn't sure if those were in there together.
Well, there's some funds coming out of another.
No, it doesn't include that, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very close to that amount. That's why I thought maybe it was including that.
There's multiple funding sources for the whole project. The majority is MFT funding.
Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Mayor Yukich?
Aye. Is there a motion to approve the platted dedication for Heritage Circle? It is understood that Heritage Circle is proposed to be constructed as part of Phase 1 of the Heritage Park project.
So moved.
Trustee Rogers.
Second.
Trustee Gray. Discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Mayor Yukich?
Aye. Next, is there a motion to approve the engineering agreement from H.R. Green for construction, engineering services related to the construction of the Heritage Park Phase 1 project in the not-to-exceed amount of $213,586.57?
So moved.
Trustee Gray.
I'll second.
Trustee Suisse. Discussion?
Can you just give a brief summary of what this 200 is for, just so the public knows?
Yeah, basically, this is going to cover, especially with the size of this project, there's going to be a lot of inspection work and quantities. Because of the MFT funds, there's a numerous amount of paperwork that's going to go along with this project. They are going to have 2 dedicated people out here basically every day doing inspection work, monitoring the work, making sure that everything according to the plans, everything is being constructed according to the plans. Taking care of as far as quantities, making sure that whatever we're being billed for, that is actually been constructed. Also, when it comes to when the contractor is actually doing the submitting their pay estimates, they're going to be reviewing those and making sure that everything is correct.
Any other questions?
I have one question. Will they be managing access to the site as well, to the park? Will any portion of the park be still open during this, or will they be managing that?
We're going to be closing the park just because of the amount, the construction that's going to be taking place. It's going to be in a kind of an extensive amount of area that's going to be under construction. We are proposing to put signs up that will be closing the park until this phase is done.
When are you going to start? When are you going to close the park?
I think the signs are available to go up tomorrow.
Yeah. They're looking, if all this gets approved this evening, we're looking to do a pre-construction meeting on Friday, and they'll start mobilizing the following week.
And how long do you anticipate it being closed?
Probably through the winter months, and then if we can control the access and everything's done, the majority of it most likely will be done this fall, this winter. There's going to be probably some cleanup and finalizing work that they'll need to come back in spring. So we're really going to have to assess it. We might be able to open it up back this fall. We just want to make sure it's going to be safe for people to get access. So some of that we'll just have to kind of review what the schedule is and kind of play it as we go.
And the majority of this is on the west end?
Yes, the majority is on the west end. The circular aisle and some of the earthwork goes all the way to the east end. So most of that will be done this fall. We'll probably have some plantings and seed stabilization and some of the electric and things of that nature going into next spring.
Okay.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Sweet?
Aye.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Mayor Yuka?
Aye. Is there a motion to approve an intergovernmental agreement with Will County for the installation of advanced warning light for the bike trail crossing at 143rd Street and Pheasant Lane?
So moved.
Trustee Rogers?
I second.
Trustee Sweet? Discussion?
So this goes to what I was speaking of the last meeting. The public safety has been looking at some of the bike trail crossings, and because 143rd Street is not our road, we need to come up with an agreement with the county to put something there. My understanding is there's a new regime over there, so it's been a much smoother transition to do this. I recently, actually, just as of today, had a resident that was concerned about these lights and, you know, people slowing down and 151st Street, they don't know what to do, and I'm not a driving instructor, so it's a yellow blinking light. You do what you do when you come to a yellow blinking light.
Slow down.
I think it's just, it's much easier to have something like this than to have the people who are unfamiliar with the path just keep going there. There are stop signs on both sides, but we all know just with people who are on their rollerblades or on their bikes and they have their headsets in, or they're not paying attention if they're not familiar with it. I just think it's the pros of, you know, on 151st Street myself, as I was driving, you know, when that first went up, more than once I had a biker come out right in front of me. So it's just a yellow blinking light and you follow the rules of the road.
Are you going to put up stop signs on the bike path? Because
Stop signs are on the bike path.
okay, I mean where this is. Okay.
Yeah. I think there was a note that came out today that one of the stop signs are missing, so we'll get on that. For some reason, kids like to take those stop signs, hang them on their walls or something, I don't know. And then additionally, I know that a while back we approved some signage that was donated from the Homer Foundation, Homer Glen Foundation. I think they're going to be putting those out there fairly soon as well.
Those are going to be markers of telling you where you're at.
Right, so if
Okay.
you're out on the bike path and, you know, you fall off your bike and you're unable to move your bike, you at least have some kind of a bearing of where you're at, a mile marker, whatever the case may be.
So I'd just like to add, I've had a few people tell me too about, especially the light on 151st Street. They're not really sure. It's not really as attention-getting as the one on Parker. And I know that those are two different roads. One I think is Township and 151st that's state or county.
151st is ours.
Is that ours? Is that Township?
That's a village road.
So I know that we weren't able to install those really active blinking lights on 151st Street. So the one on, the proposed one for 143rd Street, and I know right now we're just talking about an IGA with Will County just saying that if we put something up, we're going to be responsible for it.
Right, the light, it wasn't that we couldn't, it was a committee decision to emulate, to not emulate the one that was on Parker, because that was, you know, the feedback that I got from the committee was it was somewhat, it was obtrusive. It was startling to drivers, where this is just a subtle, slow, yellow blinking light that you see, you know, when you pull up to an intersection that has a yellow blinking light, as opposed to something that is as startling, I guess, maybe, for lack of a better word, than the one on 143rd. So it wasn't that we couldn't put that one up, that was just a preference, so that's also the one that will go on 143rd.
And is there any mention of, or can we do any striping on the pavement?
They are going, it is, they're, not on 143rd, on 151st, striping is scheduled, a reflective type of striping, and that's with the Highway Department on their schedule.
Okay. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Sweet?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Mayor Yukich?
Aye. Is there any old business? Is there any new business? The next session is going to be executive session. Is there a motion to go into executive session for the purposes of discussing litigation?
So moved.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. We're going to be going into executive session. There will be no decisions made, so we're done for the night.